So we were experiencing a little bit of fear. Renee, I was pointing out to her that during the video analysis she was looking very fearful during her session, and she's really sort of het up, and being out back she's kind of fidgety. And so whilst we were in the water I did some breathing exercises with her, just in through her nose, out through her mouth, just trying to rationalize what it was she was worried about, and therefore trying to chill her out and sort of re-engage in the fact that bodyboarding is all about having fun. Okay, now it took a couple of days, but I think the things that we did really worked. And for anybody that struggles with fear in bodyboarding, these are my pointers. Okay, I say the first thing is rationalize your fear. So what is it you're worried about? Is it other surfers? With Renee it was. Is it hitting the bottom, which with Renee it was? Is it that the waves are tubing and they're going steep and they're sort of catching her out? With Renee it was. Okay, so my top tip was, first of all, are you going to get hit by a surfer if you're nowhere near a surfer? So let's take ourselves away from the surfers. Okay, the next thing is, when you fall off on your bodyboard, have you ever hit the bottom before? Not really. Okay, so why will it suddenly start happening now, and why would it happen when it doesn't happen to bodyboarders on all of my courses that I run around the world all the time? It's just not something that fortunately happens very often, especially at the friendly beach breaks in El Salvador. So that rationalized that fear. And also covering your head with a hand helmet and the other safety techniques that we use to deal with wipeout. So that seemed to chill Renee out. And then it was dealing with the wave. So taking a technical approach to angling as she takes off, getting a high line, controlling her rail edge, not dipping her shoulder into the wave face, and being in control of getting into the tube. And the fact that when she gets into the tube, she's in the safest place, inside that chamber. As soon as you're inside the barrel, you come up through the back of the wave if you don't make it, or of course you could come out the front and have the most epic tube, which Renee had a few times. So once we rationalized those fears, that really helped. And the big thing was that Renee, I asked her to smile. Okay, and when she smiled when she was bodyboarding, then it all of a sudden changed her posture and made her less het up. Okay, so now moving on to Steve. I'm stoked to say these things have worked, but why did they work, Steve?
Yeah, so when you think about fear, which the great American actor Gary Busey said is fear is false evidence appearing real. And false evidence, yes, though. I mean, the fact of being in the ocean is something that human beings, it seems reasonable to be fearful of that. We don't tend to hang out a lot in water areas. But the reason why those particular interventions are helpful, because they're reaching the mental, physical, and the emotional. From a mental standpoint, you're able to rationalize, well, this data hasn't really happened before. And the more reps that you get out there, you realize there's more and more data points to support you making the wave safely without injury than not. So that mental aspect and those data points, those successful data points, are super, super important. From a physical standpoint, you talked about smiling, and there is a neurophysical memory chip in our bodies, in our DNA, that when we go like this, it's flooding all of these signals to our brain that things are calm, cool, and collected, and that you're actually having a good time. And so you cannot be having a good time and in a state of panic at the same time. So we're able to actually hijack our anxious emotionality through changing our state physically. And in this case, the physical change, the physical manifestation is a smile, which sends off a cascade of neural messages to our brain and to our bodies that we're all cool. And then finally, from an emotional standpoint, after you've had that success and you're going through video analysis, you're able to remind yourself of the good times that you've had, those incredible stokes that you've had, how exhilarating it felt to challenge yourself and to get literally back on the other side, smiling and having a good time and people whooping and hollering about what just happened. So that emotional aspect becomes reinforcing as well, and it starts to push the fear to the side.
Thank you so much, Steve. That makes so much sense. So much sense. So I just want to say, well done to Renee for overcoming her fears. Would you like to add anything?
I would. After my initial day of doing pretty well, I kind of went into a gray zone, and I was really, really struggling. And I started to just become very overcome with the idea of what could possibly happen as the waves changed a little bit and the conditions changed a little bit. And it was very reflective in not only the way that I was performing, but when Rob would review the video footage and look at my face, it did not look like I was having a good time. It kind of looked like I was paralyzed in fear. And one of the tasks that I was given was to just go and, like, you know, calm down, think about it, just, you know, understand that you're not going to get hurt. And I did my homework for the night, and I went back in today, and I just had an absolute blast. I had a smile on my face. It was pretty amazing. Cheshire Cat, I think, is what Rob said. So
Cheshire Cat, yeah, that's exactly what you're like. Tube riding Cheshire Cat. So yeah. On that note, thank you so much, legends. That was really good, really useful. I hope that's really helpful for you folks out there who've got some fear in regards to your bodyboarding and wave riding. Any thoughts that you have, please put them in the comments below. Your experiences, any tips that you have that can help other surfing and bodyboarding brothers and sisters. Thanks so much.